Don't let these months fly by you. There is still time to get in that summer trip. And let's be real, we might want to add the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to our list. The Cleveland Museum is home of all things rock and roll, and that's an expansive definition, y'all. The new SNL exhibit also brings you up close to artifacts from musical sketches like the cowbell, or maybe the glasses from Run DMC, or the dress from Sabrina Carpenter, and so much more. Check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame to learn more about the music that connects us all. More info is at rockhall.com/exhibitions/SNL 50 Years Music. Today on CityCast Chicago, we're midway through August. School's starting next week. Maybe you're starting to feel like summertime shot is winding down. But pump the brakes, not so fast. We're about to have our most Chicago day ever. It's Thursday, August 14th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago's talking about. I'm in the building today with executive producer Simone Alicea.
Hey, Jacoby.
We've got newsletter editor Emmi Mack with us.
Hey, Simone. Hey, Jacoby. Hey, Chicago.
Simone, you pitched us on this episode, on this new game. What are we doing today?
We're going to decide how we can have the most Chicago day ever. Basically, what I've asked each of you to prepare me a couple of itineraries, something you could do in one day, or maybe aspire to do in one day. And the goal is to be as Chicago as possible, whatever that means to you. And I think we got to start with what we're doing in the morning, how we're starting the day. Jacoby, let's start with you. How are you beginning your most Chicago day ever?
All right, so this is very interesting, because when you first said this phrase, am I making this day for a tourist, for a visitor, for somebody in my family coming for a family reunion, or am I just doing like
what I think is the most Chicago?
What I think is the most like Jacoby Chicago day. And I mostly landed on appeasing myself and creating a version of a day that maybe doesn't align with the tourists who'd want to come and see all the museums, the hottest restaurants, or getting to, maybe be in Navy Pier or anything like this. I think it's a day that just an everyday Chicagoan can appreciate. And I'm going to start the day early in the morning, because for me in this perfect world, I fell asleep on the couch at like 9:15. I woke up at midnight, did my night routine, and then went back to sleep. And I ended up waking up at like 7:30. And I'm going to start on a Divvy bike, particularly a Divvy e-bike, because I feel like I'm biking, but I also don't feel like I'm doing that much work. And I'm making my way to Kenwood, but I'm going to take the scenic route upstate, and then I'm going to go down Archer through Chinatown, spit myself back on Cermak, and go east until I'm back on state. Until I get to about 47th, I'm going to ride through the Bronzeville Arts District and arrive at Carver 47. Now, I'm only coming here to fuel up. I'm not really trying to get a big breakfast, so I'm not about to do their blueberry lemon ricotta pancakes. I'm just going to grab a simple breakfast Sammy and a smoothie, because I'm going to play pickleball at Gwendolyn Brooks Park a couple of blocks away with my sister, my little brother. Tay might be with me as well. And we're going to do that for maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours, until everybody tires themselves out. Then I'm back on the Divvy up the lake instead of taking a scenic route. And I'm going to pass Oakwood Beach, 31st Street Beach, before I go clean up. And so that's how I'm going to start my morning, on a nice bike ride through the near south side before I stop in Kenwood.
Here's what I think are the Chicagoiest points about this leg of the journey is, I think, knowing where you're going on the bike. Inherently knowing which streets and what the best route is on your bike to get from point A to point B. Obviously, we got some lake time in there, which quintessential, absolutely part of Chicago. And then, of course, already getting art just by riding through the arts district.
Just by riding past the galleries, past the Harold Washington Cultural Center. You know how I get down. I like to try and smash a few things in, but over 4 years, I think I've gotten a little more realistic. And on a bike is probably one of the most scenic ways to take in the city, versus if I would have just said, oh, I'm gonna make my way to Chinatown, Bronzeville, the lake, and I'm gonna play some pickleball in the morning. You're like, Kobe, that don't make sense. But it does. But it does.
It does on the bike. It does on the bike. I love that. Emmi, how are you starting your very Chicago morning?
My morning's starting out pretty chill. I'm imagining it's a Saturday, so I'm going to wake up a little late, closer to 10. And then basically, when I wake up on Saturdays, it's like this huge existential challenge of what I can wear and fit in my purse so that I won't have to come home at any point for the rest of the day.
And you're someone who tries to look good. Like you've got a very eclectic sense of style that you try to show off on the regular.
So, that could mean bringing some heavier earrings in my bag, all my makeup, extra deodorant, whatever I'm going to need, Band-Aids, depending on what shoes. Like, I just have to really think ahead because I don't ever want to waste time backtracking back to Logan Square. But on this perfect day, I've decided I'm wearing shorts and cowboy boots. That will become important later. So then I go east down Armitage. Down the street from me is this little chocolate shop called Catherine Ann Confections, where I like to get an ice black coffee. So I just grab that there and keep going till I hit Red Hot Ranch. And then since I slept in by this point, it is lunchtime. So at my Red Hot Ranch, I like to get the Chicago style cheeseburger, which is a burger with the Depression dog style topping. So it's really good. There's sport peppers on there. It checks all the boxes for, do you want a hot dog or a hamburger? It's awesome.
This is going to come up a lot in your itinerary. Emmi, can you remind us for folks who may not be aware that there is a difference, what the difference between the Depression dog and the Chicago style dog is?
The Depression is less ingredients. It's sport peppers, mustard, onions, and relish. So Red Hot Ranch does a good one. They pack a lot of hand-cut fries wrapped up in that wax paper, and you'll end up eating under the roaring train that's going by over next to Margie's Candies on Western and Armitage and Milwaukee. So once I get my Chicago-style cheeseburger, then I'll turn down Milwaukee and head to Wicker. This is when, because a perfect day, like I gotta be a little productive. So I'll usually start with returning my online purchases to Urban Outfitters on Saturday mornings. And in case you're wondering, Urban Outfitters, there's 2 left in the city of Chicago, and one of them's in Wicker. And then since I'm over there, I'll get a little other shopping done. A lot of the stores over there are featured on our Chicago Vintage Shopping Guide. There's a new place that's opened after we published that earlier this spring called Chicago Vintage House, where I just got an awesome diesel hat. By this point in the afternoon, I'll usually have linked up with someone, usually one of my girlfriends. And once we're in Wicker, we're going to start heading east. We'll walk to Damon and Armitage, take the Armitage bus to the zoo just really quick. Not for a full zoo day, just to stop in and say hi to the gorillas. Because that gets us close to where we're going to have an early dinner, but I don't want to get ahead. Sorry, don't want to.
Yeah, you've gotten pretty ahead. You've got us through the early afternoon over here. Let's talk about the Chicago points you get. Catherine Ann Confections, classic shop, also featured on one of our lists for best hot chocolate. I feel like, and Jacoby, I know you're somebody who is very up on like Chicago makers, designers. I kind of want to take points off, if we're keeping track of points, which we're not, for the Urban Outfitters. It just feels...
I'm just being honest. I'm just trying to be honest.
Right. I hear you.
You gotta be honest.
I hear you. It just feels not very Chicago. And if you're going to have the most Chicago day...
But that does feel some Chicago, though, because in a way, it's like, it's Urban Outfitters everywhere. It's like, of course, that's a part of my actual perfect Chicago day.
It's a starting point. I actually love doing returns because I like having an excuse to like get to the other neighborhood or get to the store and then go to other stores around there. Just saying. It's just part of my Saturday.
And she didn't return to a local shop. Yeah. She returned to a chain. So it was like, I took your shit. I checked it out. I gave it back to you.
Partially because I just have no imagination. The day I'm describing is not imaginary. It's just a day that I had last week that after I went home at 5 in the morning, I was like, this was a perfect day. So I'm just I'm a nonfiction writer. Like, I just don't have the imagination. So what you guys are getting clued into is what I actually did 2 Saturdays ago. So
one part I did love, because I just did it over the weekend, actually. We were about to go take a walk in the afternoon, and usually we'll just like walk the neighborhood, maybe walk to the lake or something. And for some reason, we were like, let's just go to Lincoln Park Zoo. Let's just go do the walk there. And so we just hopped on the train. I think we ended up getting on the Brown line and then just like walking over, what was like maybe 15, 20 minutes, just kind of doing a loop to the zoo. then making our way to the Fullerton Red Line and popped back home. It obviously took way longer than just walking in the neighborhood, but it was that moment where it was just like, I have free will here. I could just go walk through the zoo. And the gorillas were out.
Yeah. And of course, the Lincoln Park Zoo is free, which makes it even easier to just like, why don't I stop by for a little bit? I'll take a little loop around.
And why not walk around the zoo and like semi-enjoy it, semi-critique the entire process, like kind of feel guilty, but also I'm like, oh, maybe I get some cotton candy or some Dippin' Dots. It's like they're a very existentially challenging place, especially for just like an afternoon walk. But I don't know, it ended up being real nice. It turned into a whole policy conversation. It wasn't just like a casual walk to the zoo, which I think is the very Chicago part of it. We didn't just enjoy it for enjoyment's sake. We actually had a very mentally, emotionally challenging time walking through, which I think a lot of Chicagoans do.
I would say that's true of a lot of things that happen in Chicago. If you're a thoughtful human, you just kind of walk around and you're like, ooh, I've got feelings about this, I think.
Right.
Well, Jacoby, we haven't gotten to your most Chicago lunch afternoon plan. So keep us going. What's happening in your afternoon?
Similar to Emmy, if I was just thinking about the chillest version of one of my afternoons, I would be on the far south side visiting Taylor's people in like Rosemore, and then over at my mom's to like gamble and drink and stay there until all hours of the night. But to make it at least somewhat accessible to people, I'm next going to go over to, and I might end up bumping into Emmy because I'm going to go to Milwaukee. I'm going to take the Blue Line to Division. And when I get off here, this is when I have to decide how hungry am I based off of my morning activities. Because that bike ride could have ended with me stopping over at like Batters and Berries, the new location in South Loop, and grabbing a quick French toast flight or something.
Are the lines as long in the South Loop location as they have been in the Lincoln Park location?
They're just slowly kind of getting to it. So I don't think the lines have really popped off like that. I think there was a few weeks where you could only do takeout. And so their dining and seating areas just really starting to open up. But so say I ate something or got a little bit of a snack. I really enjoy walking Milwaukee from about Division to, if I'm feeling real good, I might get all the way up to like California, maybe even in Kedzie, so that I can come down and walk through, or Sacramento, so I can come down and walk through Humboldt Park. But if I just want to go from Division to about California, there's so much I can do in there. There's Uname. I always like to stop through, see what they have. Am I going to buy a squirrel bowl or my favorite gummies in the city, whether it's a sour pack or regular? I usually end up getting both. Then I could pop over to Round 2 and get feed the inner hype beast in me. Like, it's so expensive, and it feeds into the part of like sneaker culture, resale culture that is probably very toxic. Like, what am I paying $60 for a Space Jam t-shirt? But I paid it and I have it, and I've sold shoes there, and so that's been nice. But it, regardless of, again, what I'm thinking about it, the mental hurdle it is to go in there, it's always the clothes are always cool. I always have something to aspire to for some shoes that I can't afford and probably shouldn't purchase. But then I leave there, and then I can go over to like Myopic Books. And in an increasingly consumer stretch of Chicago where the Kavas of the world have popped up, there's a small Cheval in throwing distance. There are a lot of chain stores over there. You still got Mindy's Bakery. You still got St. Alfred's, right? You still got Sub T. You know, the Roby is probably a more bougie version of that, but you still got the Roby. And so it's becoming, increasingly more commercial by the day.
Also, just one more thing about the Roby pool in Wicker Park. It's totally accessible on the rooftop of Solana. If you just go up there, get a beer, you're welcome to swim in the pool. Just people should know.
But it's one of my favorite walks. I take my camera out. One of my favorite places to do street photography in the city. And then if I'm feeling good, I may like walk a triangle and then come down Western and then take Division back west towards Division and Ashland. And when I get there, say, if I haven't eaten, the meal I can't stop thinking about is the burger and wings I got at Mott Street. I don't know. It was all the way at the top of the year.
Yeah, we did that in January.
Yeah, it was so damn good. And so before I hop back on the Blue Line to maybe head back towards the crib, I might stop at Mott Street and get the wings, the burger, maybe even the fried cauliflower. And so, yeah, a lot of good lunch options that I was thinking about. It's really location specific. Like if I'm in downtown Lincoln Park, I might go to Cafecito. I just had a sandwich from there the other day that, so damn good.
Yeah, they're good.
The Cafecito sandwich is like when you're really just like, you need something quick and you want it to be hearty and you want it to be flavorful. Like it hits so hard.
All right, so I want to name a couple qualities. I want you to think if they apply to you, and just maybe I might got your next career move. Ready? I bet. Do you have a passion for people? You're excited to help others and you got great customer service skills. Do you crave flexibility, right? You want to be in charge of your own schedule and chart your own course. Do you got that hustle in you, right? Are you ready to turn that drive into something meaningful? All right, if you answer yes, then hey, real estate might be your next big move. Realtors help people make one of the biggest decisions of their lives, buying or selling a home, and no 2 days are the same. It's a chance to grow a business, make an impact, and build the lifestyle you're working towards. Visit realtorsrealestateschool.com to set up a free career consultation. We got a couple months of summer left, but before we know it, them cold and windy days will be upon us. Can your windows hold up against yet another Chicago fall and winter? Replace your older builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality windows from Window Nation. They offer a lifetime warranty on all their windows, so you can rest assured knowing your home is protected. And their installation crews have installed over 3 million homes and do the job in 1 day or less. This month, get 50% off of all window styles, over 1,500 to choose from. Put zero down, make zero payments, and pay zero interest for 2 years. That's right, you can pay nothing until 2027. Hurry up because this sale ends soon. Don't miss out. This is Window Nation's most popular deal. Schedule a fast, free estimate now with Window Nation. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Got any fun trips coming up? One thing you probably haven't put on your packing list is learning the language. But with Babbel, you can start talking in just a few weeks. I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast, and I've been learning Spanish with Babbel. And I also just persuaded my friend who's going to France this fall to learn French with Babbel, but that is another story. Babbel's extremely fun and intuitive. It's like having a private tutor in your pocket. Handcrafted by over 200 language experts, Babbel's lessons are voiced by real native speakers and built with science-backed cognitive tools and interactive features to fit any learning style. I love a lot of the different Babbel features. The Babbel games for sentence building, Babbel speech recognition, which helps me get the pronunciation right. And now I'm really into Babbel's word of the day, which greets me on the homepage of the app. Every day, a new word revealed like a little surprise, with a sentence to help contextualize it. It's like a daily treat for me. Studies from Yale, Michigan State, and other leading universities continue to prove that Babbel works. One study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. Look, I want you to learn another language. So I'm teaming up with Babbel to gift you 55% off subscriptions, but only for CityCast listeners at babbel.com/CityCast. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/CityCast. Spelled BABBEL.com/CityCast. Babbel.com/CityCast. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Let's move into the evening portion of our day. Emmy, how are you spending your evening? I think last we checked, you are in Lincoln Park near the zoo.
Mm-hmm. Near the zoo. Now that I am in Lincoln Park, leaving the zoo, we are going to have dinner at Wiener Circle. So this is where you have some variety, some choose your own adventure within my perfect day. If you went for the burger at Red Hot Ranch for lunch like I did, then you're going to get a char dog here. But if you went for a hot dog this morning, then you can have a cheddar burger at Wiener Circle. And that's
you can. You are allowed.
That's
you have been.
That's just the food pyramid. I don't make the rules. So after a nice dinner on a sticky red picnic bench, getting yelled at, since I'm pretty far east, I'll walk over to my friends Bobby and Chunghwa's place to pregame. And you guys don't know Bobby and Chunghwa, but rest assured you should. And they have the best house on Dakin Street to pregame for everything. And then I also want to say congrats on your engagement, Bobby and Chunghwa. They are CityCast listeners. And that's been a really big thing that happened for our friend group this week. So after a couple hours of this and that on Dakin Street, we'll all walk over to Smart Bar. By this point, others have joined up, and we are a veritable crew coming down the sidewalk.
This is so funny to me that you mentioned pre-gaming at your friend's house, because I just went to a birthday party in Boys Town, like in North Halsted, right? Somebody's condo. And all of us collectively, because most of us are in our 30s, getting into mid 30s, and all of us collectively had like a flashback to college, being like, I'm at a house party in Lakeview on a Friday night. Like, what is happening right now? Like, it was such a sense memory for me to be like out on this person's porch drinking a very mysterious mixed drink. And so I actually do feel like that element of my two friends and I'm pre-gaming at their house is like a very Chicago-y moment. Jacoby, what are you doing? Where are you going for dinner? What are you doing in the evening?
Ooh, so once again, I was having a tough time decide here. So I'm very glad Emmi mentioned her friends, because that's where I'm going to lean. Because my first suggestion was I'm going to go to a Sox game, because a perfect day feels like it has to include some form of like a sporting event, whether you want to see the Sky or the Sox or the Cubs, whatever the case, it feels like that should be a part of a perfect day. However, I think next to going to a sporting event or being on stage, going out to Promontory Point with my friends and just like relaxing, like setting up some blankets, some tents, maybe got the grill going. If you can secure a fire pit, it's very tough out there. Somebody got a football. We rolling up. We on the concrete. We on the grass. You got the field house right behind us. There's always other families, other friend groups out there having a good time. Depending on what part of the summer you might be out there, fireworks might be going off. And so, yeah, a perfect day would include just like chilling out with my friends and a large group of people. At some point in the summer, I find myself standing there with my friends, staring at the skyline, just thinking to myself, it doesn't get much better than this. Like, I am very aware that I'm in the good old days when I'm at Promontory Point.
Oh my God. Being at the lake at golden hour, nothing makes you feel more just on top of the world. I don't know, like more like this is the best thing that's ever happened. I kind of want to go back to your theoretical about going to a sports game as part of a perfect Chicago day, because and I know you hate this, but I want you to narrow which game is the most Chicago. Which team, if you're going to go see a team, what's the to have the most Chicago day ever? Which one would it be?
Ooh, the most Chicago.
All due respect to all of our teams, they're all Chicago. We claim them. I'm just for the purposes of the game.
Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Bears. I tailgated twice last year, and the Chicago Bear fan culture is actually quite amazing. And I feel like so much of the conversation the last few years has been, in some ways rightfully so, about the up and downs of the team and the draft picks and the stadium drama, that I think people have just in some ways kind of glossed over the Chicago Bears fan experience. It's very cost prohibitive. And so I don't know if it's the most accessible in the most Chicago kind of way. For me, that probably feels like the Sox. The tailgating culture is still good. Chicago Bears fans are actually very warm, like really celebratory. Like like when you're at the game, it feels like it's a group atmosphere with your section, whether you're complaining or not.
That's interesting.
My heart wants to say the Sox, but
because I was going to say the Sox. I think there's an argument to be made for Wrigley in the sense that it's a historic ballpark, and so you've got the the history there. Amazing. And Wrigley is certainly an experience, right? Yes. If you're going to Wrigleyville, like that's your whole day, right? But I was going to say the Sox specifically because there is a culture inside the park of, number one, as you said, the cheats are relatively cheap, and so it's much more accessible. But specifically, in my experience, in the few Sox games that I've been to, there's always been a culture of you buy cheap seats, you move farther down because they're not selling out that stadium,
100%,
especially these days. And there is something in the camaraderie of that, in the solidarity of that feels very Chicago to me.
100%. And I will say certain games, they get real tricky about letting you on that 100 row.
Sure.
But I will say it feels like people are coming from all of Chicagoland to converge at a pretty interesting center point in the city. You got your South Side people, your West Side, your suburbs, North Side. Everyone's kind of converging, and they all hate it. They all hate how bad Lakeshore is. They hate the walk from the South Loop.
They don't like the spaceship.
No, the walk home is typically complaining, moaning, and groaning about the laws.
Very Chicago.
Yeah.
But there is a shared, right? It's too expensive. But there's a shared agony in that Bears game that, like, the Sox people are just kind of there. Like, win, lose, draw, we're just kind of here. The Bears, there's a hopefulness in that building that doesn't really exist.
There are real stakes. There are real stakes in investment. I get you. Okay. I could be sold on that. Shared agony is a quintessential marker of the Chicago experience.
100%.
So yeah. Before we get to late night shenanigans, Jacoby, where are you getting dinner?
Oh, I have listed so many places over the years, but right now I'm really feeling pasta, and I want to go to Monteverde.
I've heard it's supposed to be really
in the
good.
West Loop. I've gone a few times. Let's say if I'm going with a group for this, I might ask us to splurge on the pork shank. It's like a large shared plate. A little pricey, but it comes tomato braised pork shank, some Italian sausage, some meatballs, some fusilli. It's just a huge plate, ton of meat, ton of pasta. Looks like it'd be good for the group. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with some Monteverde. I'm going to go to the West Loop because I want to be close to my end of the night plans.
I got to say, I think in this whole exercise, pinpointing the food, again, when asking the question, how to have the most Chicago day, I think pinpointing the food is the hardest. Emmi, you've gone, I think Laura Gardner said this in our episode yesterday about how Chicago is all about lowbrow, highbrow, right? You've gone a little more lowbrow with the burgers and dogs.
I'm a lowbrow kind of person.
Which Chicago, Chicago does that. Chicago does that so well. Jacoby, you're bringing us to the West Loop, which is like the center of Chicago's fine dining universe in many ways. And, when I was thinking about this, I was like, well, it's got to be tacos, right? You got to get tacos somewhere in there. Like,
what's interesting is I probably would have hopped in an Uber and went over to Taco Talan off Fullerton and Costner. And got the shrimp burrito tacos or the burrito ramen. And so there were going to be some tacos in there. And I had also considered maybe stopping off at H Mart just to get like a little bento box and one single individual mango ice cream.
Well, I mean, I know you've got late night activities planned in your most Chicago day ever.
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
So, like I said, we are now leaving Bobby and Chung Wa's and we're going to Smart Bar. And again, this is just real life. So that's why I didn't have tacos that day, but I normally eat a lot of tacos too. But Smart Bar, we get there. Smart Bar is fine. I refuse to pay for the drinks because of the cover. So I drink the airplane size shooters that I put in my cowboy boots. This is another life hack for you Chicagoans.
We do not encourage... I should say we do not encourage.
We're not encouraging. We're just describing how we live.
Yeah.
And I think a very Chicago thing is we don't always follow the rules.
No.
We don't.
No. It's actually a balance that I find very hard to strike in this podcast because I cannot encourage you to,
And I don't
illegally
think we do. I don't think we do.
Bring things into places, go to places you're not supposed to go. Don't do things that are unsafe. Support local businesses. However,
me and Emmi, unsafe, high, a little tipsy, how we live our life on the edge, baby.
Yep.
Just for the record here, but go on.
So I'll usually, stay swing for a while. I'll be gossiping in the hazy corner of the dance floors till the shooters run out. So then, since it is summer on this perfect imaginary day, I'll convince someone to leave Smart Bar with me and walk to Belmont Harbor. That's why I had not touched water yet on this perfect day because I was saving it. Belmont Harbor is my favorite place in the city to watch the sunrise and just float. I recently did this last week with my old college roommate who was in town. We left Smart Bar together. I hadn't seen him in a really long time. And we stayed up there on the concrete ledge until the sun came up, just talking about life. He was visiting from New York. He'd never seen the ledge before. He didn't even know that, you could swim on the whole edge of Chicago. So we stayed up until we were inevitably Googling what time does Red Hot Ranch open. And then
What time does Red Hot Ranch open, Emmy?
10:30 in the morning. So
Great.
But we were leaving the lake around like 6-ish. So it was not in time for Red Hot Ranch. We took an Uber home because we earned it. And on the way, we stopped at El Ranchito, the 24-hour Mexican-Italian place, and got quesadillas. So we earned those too. So we had probably been treading water for like 90 minutes before we decided.
Also very
time to
dangerous,
call it.
friends. Let me just emphasize being in the lake off the ledge, particularly at night, very dangerous behavior.
The sun was up. The sun was up now. So
Okay.
Now Simone became moms in this episode. You asked for our perfect day. We gonna be a little dangerous.
The reason I do this
on the scooter with no helmet
is because
zigzagging through streets.
See, because Jacoby, here's the thing: you're not the one who checks the email in the morning.
No.
And so I just want to emphasize, it's like not a great idea, but I get the romance of it all.
Theoretical.
Belmont Harbor is a lovely spot, a little bit underrated in my opinion, particularly at night. If you are going to walk by the lake, and watching the sunrise over the lake, also highly underrated. I have so many memories of being in college and just being up all night and like, I don't know. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful moment. Jacoby, what about you? Any late night shenanigans to add to your list?
Yeah, typically there is something going on every week where a friend is hosting an art show, a pop-up, they doing some private chefing, they spinning somewhere. And so I'm usually never without options. But this Saturday, I'm actually going to try to get to Expat before 10:45 because I want to sit down. Slow Jams happens once a month. If you get there after 11:30, the line is way too long and unreasonable to be standing in, but it is great music. I don't know. It is somehow over the last few months just become a very casual meeting place for a lot of my friends, people I have not seen in weeks or months at a time. And then I just show up there once a month and there go all my friends and homies from high school and somebody I did an open mic with 3 years ago. And so it always ends up feeling like a Chicago reunion. If you can't get in, you can go across the street to Kashmir, or you can wait until it's over and still go across the street and have a late night at Kashmir. At that point, depending on when we leave, if my homie Aaron is working, I may walk over to Gino and Marty's. They have a restaurant on the first floor, but they have like a slight speakeasy up top that you got to walk through the restaurant and go up the back stairs, have a couple of drinks before I am making my mind up. Do I want to hop on the Morgan Green line? Do I want to call an Uber? Usually at that point, and I know Simone will say it's not the best, so I'm not going to suggest that you hop on a divvy or find one of the scooters that you can somehow get to work after midnight.
That one is just proceed with caution. It's just motorized vehicles while you're intoxicated is never a good idea. But proceed with caution.
The motorized scooters to me seem more dangerous than jumping in the lake at 5 a.m. Those will take you out. I've seen it happen.
I don't think that's true, but I'll give you that.
They're both pretty dangerous. I'm just saying. But yeah.
I'm gonna probably go for the Uber because that way I can order on my way home. And again, depending on where we are, maybe the Harold's is still open. Maybe Chi Cafe is still open. I can get that late night. Kuru Ramen might come through from Chinatown. And so at that point, I'm probably going to order something very late and then stay up till about 3 or so before falling asleep. A very active day.
Certainly more active than any day I would ever choose to have, which is why I didn't make an itinerary. So these are both excellent days. They both feel very Chicago to me. I do think it's interesting because I don't know that they would read as the most Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. To an outsider or even to someone who's relatively new here. And so I
think that's the point.
I was going to ask, like, if you had to get behind it, why do you think that these days represent the concept of most Chicago?
I think for mine, it captures like it'd be almost stupid to say Chicago is the backdrop to this, but in mine, it very much is. We are starting at a park named after Gwendolyn Brooks, like, and then riding through Bronzeville and up the lake, and we are making our way into sort of one of Chicago's at least most popular, especially during that Saturday afternoon rush, shopping corridors and shopping districts where it feels like it's one of the most diverse strips of the city in terms of what's available to people, what kind of people are mixing and mingling up there, the restaurant options all through Wicker, Logan, Bucktown, and back through. Again, spending some real genuine time at Promontory Point, not just for the views, but the idea that is one of the places community members continue to rally behind, continue to advocate for its protection, for investment in it, like for sustainability. And then again, the idea that between both Emmy and my food choices, that there is no limit of options. There is no way to capture Chicago's culinary scene in a day, in a weekend, in a month. And yet, as we kind of sprinkle a burger here and a hot dog there and a great pasta dish here and, late night shenanigans at a place you can only get in because you got a homie who worked there. And you just know somebody who knows somebody, because we all know somebody who knows somebody.
We do all know somebody who knows somebody.
And I can promise you, along Emmy's route, along my route, I'm gonna run into somebody I haven't seen in a while.
That's real.
Or I would like to avoid, whatever the case may
be. Yeah, every place you mention, has a story, which I think is very, very Chicago-y. Emmy, you guys don't talk about most of the big downtown tourist attractions, the Bean, Millennium Park, Museum Campus. What do you think makes the day the most Chicago?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the awe-inspiring Bean, and I love taking people to see it for the first time. But if you're going to spend a day with me, we'll probably not end up there. We're going to go to Wicker Park. We're going to shop. We're going to dance. We're going to walk around under the train tracks. To me, like, running an errand in Chicago is a Chicago thing to do. At least, like, if you're walking there, if you're biking, like, you're just being out on the street, like, you are up and down Milwaukee Avenue, like.
It's interesting because I think we as Chicagoans are very concerned with authenticity as a core part of what makes Chicago Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't overthink that I try not to overthink that stuff. I'm just like gonna go do what I'm gonna do. But I can acknowledge that you're not gonna go to tourist attractions if you're living here. You're gonna go near where your friends are, and inevitably, period, you're going to end up at the lake.
There's also a version of this for somebody who may live in Beverly or Archer Heights or Austin or Jefferson Park, where the lake never factors in because you're not going to get that far, right? You may just be at, Garfield Park Conservatory and then go do your vintage shopping up in Irving Park, then go get you some Uncle Remus back in Austin, or, you make your way through Ashburn and Beverly and Auburn Gresham, and then you make your way back home. And you still get all of these things. You can get your morning exercise. You can run your errands. You can get good food. You can meet up with your friends. And so I think one thing the podcast has taught me is the idea of the most Chicago day or the most perfect day really has to begin and end with, who are you? What do you enjoy doing? Where do you like to be? Who do you like to spend your time with? And then 1,000 of us can name 1,000 different versions of this itinerary with no overlapping places, and it still be very authentic to your version of this city, even though it looks nothing like mine. And so I'd love to hear from listeners, from readers, to take this basic format and to just, paint by number, fill it in, fill in the blanks. Let us know, what is your most Chicago day? Where does that take you in the city? Because they're like some of the places you mentioned, I could mention the MSI, but if I'm actually doing that, like not in let me fit it in a day, that's going to take up a lot of my day.
That's the other real thing.
The Art Institute is going to take up a lot of my day.
Art Institute's a whole day. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so
I totally get that. Folks can absolutely let us know what their itineraries are. You can always call or text us 773-779-3692. 780-0246. Emmi is also going to be putting out an article about this. And so you can email us as well about what your itineraries are. Thanks, friends, for indulging your resident transplant and letting me analyze your Chicago-y days.
No, I appreciate you. Please, everybody listening, join me in thanking our executive producer, Simone Aliceo.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
Our Hey Chicago newsletter editor, Emmi Mack.
Thanks, Jacoby.
Hey, and if you made it this far in the episode, go ahead and just pat yourself on the back. But once you finish that patting, I'm going to need you to pick your phone up if you was away from it. I'm going to need you to go to citycast.fm/survey because I got a quick favor for you. I need you to take our annual listener survey. I've asked you to do it. And, you know, we kind of getting later in the week. I'm going to get a little pushy. I'm not begging. I'm demanding. You go take our audience listener survey because it helps us learn more about you. So we can bring you more relevant stuff. We can find out what you love, what you like. And even if you took it last year or the year before, you can go on and take it again. Plus, you're going to get the chance to win a $250 Visa gift card and some CityCast Chicago merch. All you got to do is go to citycast.fm/survey and take the survey. You know, I ain't going to leave you without some good news. While you are on our website, please navigate over to our events calendar. You know a couple things you're going to see on there? Yes, another round of festivals. We got Fan Expo out at the Convention Center in Rosemont. We got neighborhood festivals like the Glenwood Avenue Arts Festival in Rogers Park. We got one-day celebrations like the Sonito Festival at the National Museum of Mexican Art, and so much more. Please bookmark our website. You can feel more connected to this city beyond just trying to create a fictitious perfect day. You can actually feel connected by reading about the city, learning about it, finding cool events, all of that at our website. Just go to our show notes. We're going to be back bright and early tomorrow, looking back on some big stories from the week with our friends. We'll talk to you then. Peace.
Oh, wait.
Spinning somewhere.
Sorry. Emmi, I was going to ask, where do the cowboy boots come in? But it's for the shooters.
It's for the shooters.
Got it. Okay. Anyway.